What's up YouTube? I'm just another guy and welcome to my Parks to Premier League here with Billericay Town FC. Started the screen on a different page this time just because on a different page it gives away a bit of the information about how we're doing so far in the league and also in Europe, so I decided not to go too much detail into that and we're just going to jump straight in and do some transfers. So we got Champions League football for the first time ever, so of course we're going to want to invest that as wisely as we can. And I feel we've done a very decent job than the players we brought in. We'll look through the key players out. Backhouse left for 2.3 million to Ipswich. Justin Hilgebrand, a player that served us brilliantly in the Championship, but not, didn't really play up to the standard I wanted him to, or wasn't really up to the standard of players that I wanted in the Premier League. So he ended up going on a free to Hoffenheim. Alex Nelson, he went to for 4.5 million to Valencia. Algoa, he went for 1.8 million to Burnley. Bill McDonald, Mondi wasn't getting enough first team football, so he's gone out to Stoke for 5 million. Didn't really play well last season either, you know. By money you're not getting football, then don't play well when I give it to you. Bit idiotic. Tomislav Botica to Swansea, he went for 3.3 million. Elsewhere, a lot of youth players were released. A couple of key loans I want to point out as well is Eloy Qualat, the youngster we got from Barcelona last season. Loaned him out to Derby, get him some first team football in the Championship. Walter Diaz, the Argentine we signed a few years back now. Can't get him off my hands. I don't really want him anymore. So I ended up loaning him out to Ace to get him football along with Kevin Guetti. A couple of other people, new signings and stuff. So we'll go into them now. We'll go into more detail with the signings in than out because it doesn't really matter too much. But we ended up bringing in £17 million. On the Enzo, Thomas Tacintas, I don't really know how to pronounce that. Pretty decent left back, got some nice well-rounded stats, 10s pretty much all across the board, or above, I should say. He's currently got out to Crawley, 19 years of age. He's definitely at the age now where first team football is going to be crucial for his development. So, we may have just signed him, but sent him straight out loan, basically. Championship side, he's doing a decent job there, so hopefully he can develop. Ibrahim Yilmaz, surprise, was it Paris Saint-Germain? It was, Lyon, sorry. Lyon, I'm surprised Lyon didn't sign this guy down for a new deal. 18 years of age, he's got a pretty decent report on him. He's 4-star, which is a leading Premiership player, so, in Ligue 1, I'm pretty sure he would have done a, pretty decent player for the future. Apparently Lyon didn't see it, my scouts picked it up. His contract was running out, so I offered him a free contract. Again, he's gone out on loan to get first team football, just to try and develop him up a bit more. 18 years of age as well, so it's definitely at the age now where first team football can be pretty important for his development. So hopefully we can see good things about with him in the future. This guy, Bruno Henrique, this is the first real signing that we made that, could have an influence on the first team. A left attacking mid from Porto. Is Porto, yes? Yeah, there was Porto. Very good player, got some very good technical stats, especially with his dribbling and first touch. And physically as well, he's got some pretty nice stats on him. A report says that he's only 2.5 stars, which is a good Premiership player. So, it's not like 2.5 stars and he's a decent Premiership player, which, would most teams struggling to survive relegation would have. He's a good player, but, really, we want to be having a leading Premiership player according to current ability at our side, to be competing for titles now, which is really what we want to be doing. During his career, he's had an amazing career. He's been, 32.25 million overall total, money spent on him throughout his career. We picked him up on a free as his contract was running out with Porto. He had an amazing time at Porto as well, playing very well. And coming to the Premier League, he's doing a decent job with us, I say. Not amazing, but, considering the amount of games he's got and things like that, very good. So, I think this guy could be a good signing. He's currently rotation on the left side of the pitch. A few other players, which I'll tell you about when I get to another one. Ruben Diego Jimenez, this guy is 17 years of age, Paris Saint-Germain, this guy, that's actually right this time, I know. 5-star potential he has. 1.5-star current ability, so he's not got the best current ability, but the 5-star potential is why I signed him, and he's actually in and around the first team squad right now. Despite his age, I felt 5-star potential, I really got to be giving this guy first team football at the Premiership level, at my club, just to try and help him develop his stats, because we're obviously going to have better training facilities than those teams that we're going to be loaning him out to. So it'd be important that he has, good facilities open to him and a good standard of football. Looking at the report, it says Alan Brooks is 2-star, Craig Williams is 2-star. Craig Williams is not a right attacking mid. Will Brister is still a right attacking mid at the side. Although, he rarely features in the first team. So really it's Alan Brooks and Ruben Diaro Jimenez as our two right attacking mids this season. I do think Alan Brooks is better than 2 stars, just because he's not a natural right attacking mid, he's going to have a low rating. So really, he's the backup right attacking mid for this season. I think, 17 years of age is a good role to have. He will be featuring, he's already featured quite a few times as well for us. So, again, expecting big things for this guy in the future, as well as currently right now. I expect to put a good performance in when I need him to. Joshua Mendia, this is probably the best free transfer we got this season. And the strange thing was, we've actually had this guy before. Now, I don't actually remember signing this guy on loan. I don't remember him being here on loan. I don't remember him playing the only game he played for us on loan, but somehow we had him on loan. I don't even know how long for. That's how much I don't remember this guy. But after our, poor loan spell really with us, he went back to Boca and did really well. 3 consistent seasons with his contract running out this year. Boca couldn't tie him down to a new deal, and we had to fight off the likes of, Barcelona and a couple other top European sides to get his signature on the page where we wanted it, on the contract, if I could say that right. £64,000 a week. That was a lot more than what he initially asked for, but I knew I had to offer him a bit more wage just to try and convince him to come to Billericay. Money does talk in that terms. Overall, a really, really good centre-back. He will play brilliantly alongside Luis Alberto Shakora, both South American, both coming from South American roots. I'm pretty sure, did he play in the Uruguay League? I think he did play in the Argentinian Premier League, I did know that. So, hopefully they can link up well. Francisco Xavier as well is another, very good centre-back for us. So, we have 3 amazing centre-backs at the side now. Oh, and they're all pretty young, Joshua Mendia is 23, Francisco Xavier is 24, sorry. So, they're all at a pretty young age, so hopefully we can have 3 centre-backs here for a long time now at a very good level. After that, we've got Ralph Wolf in on a free transfer. This guy, just had, had an under-21 cap for Germany, was 19 years of age. I thought, he must have some potential in him. He does currently, so he's gone out to Middlesbrough on loan to try and develop that. He's actually playing very well there, so that's nice to see. Then we spent the money. So what I like to do is I like to look at players whose contracts are expiring with 6 months left on their contract, try and pre-sign some of them. Then once the contracts have all gone out and stuff, you may find once players have become released, they're more willing to come to your side. So then I reevaluate my side, what positions I feel I need. Look on the free transfer. Look at the expired contract list. Just go through the players there, see if there's anyone better than someone I currently have, then I'll sell them, bring them in, etc., etc. And then once that's all done, reevaluate the side once again and decide my weakest positions and decide to spend the cash in them places. So the first guy I brought in, all 3 of these guys I brought in actually are all youngsters. And last episode I did point out that, the likes of City, Arsenal and Chelsea, I just showed you the league table there really idiotically, were 5th. But anyway, the top teams anyway, City, Chelsea, Arsenal, United and Liverpool, they're all their players now, all their great players anyway, they're all getting old. So I really want to beat them to, bring in the next generation of footballers. And to do that, I'm going to have to sign young now. So in 2-3 years' time, when all their players are leaving, we've got them, pretty experienced, pretty developed, at a very good standard to come in and dominate the Premier League. So the first guy, 14.5 million on David. 16 years of age. It's an absolutely massive risk. 14.5 million is a lot to spend on a 16-year-old. He has 5-star potential, yes, but currently 1.5-star ability. Playing on the left attacking mid as well, Bruno Henrique, Cass Peters and David. David will definitely play in some of these games. Currently made 4 league appearances, so he is in and around the side as well. I want to give this guy game time. Spending 14.5 million on a 16-year-old and not playing him, having him sit in the youth squad, playing youth games, to me, it's not a smart investment. I'm going to want to play this guy as much as I can at the level that we are at. And so I think we're going to do that now. He's got very nice stats in him. Dribbling is very well built in. He's very good as well. So we just need to hope that with his age, he develops nicely, develops well-rounded as well. Mentally, I think that will obviously come as time goes on. But it's just them technical stats we need to train on now, which I think we're currently doing. Yeah, we've got his passing going up. But you see, he's developing well. So the first 2 footballers are obviously going to help contribute to that. So expect big things there. Next guy, Marco Spinner, coming in from Schalke, the Australian/Italian. I actually looked this up because I thought this was very weird that an Australian was in the German division, but then it found out he wasn't actually German at all, so he's Italian-Australian, playing in the German division. A bit weird. This guy's a very good young goalkeeper. He's currently going to be a backup goalkeeper for the season. I'm not too sure. I kind of want to loan him out, considering his 5-star potential. But, you know, with Mpagwe there, no other real backup keeper, I think I need to keep this guy just for a year, or maybe just for 6 months, until we get maybe another backup keeper sorted. Then this guy can go out on loan and develop. Because, again, I have a big future for this guy, only 17 years of age. And pretty cheap signing as well, so hopefully he can develop. And the last guy we spent 14 million on was John Salazar. Coming from Bayern Leverkusen. 1.5-star current ability, but he's got 5-star potential. Yet again, all these guys, 5-star potential. This guy's the oldest out of all 3 of them, being 18 years of age. I still think his stats, you know, it says 1.5-star current ability. I think his stats are better than that, and I do think my assistant manager is being very harsh on him there, you know. Very good, well-rounded player. Defensively minded centre mid. I do need a defensive minded centre mid, because we've got Hamza Benelli. His contract expires at the end of the season, so he'll probably be on his way out. This way, John Salazar can come in. Again, he's in and around the squad. You know, he's making these appearances. I'm going to try and develop all these guys up in the first team straight away. So that way, you know, like I say, 3 years time now, playing in the Premier League for 3 years. Obviously, they're going to develop. Obviously, they're going to, you know, benefit from having better training facilities than they would have out on loan. And hopefully, they can reach their potential a bit quicker and just reach their potential, really. If they can be 5-star players, it'll be great. So that's it for the transfers. 31 million spent, 17 million in. A lot of these players that we've signed with money, they do have clauses in them, like Marco Espina, John Salazar, and David there. You can pause down and have a look at them yourselves, because it's not really too important. So we're going to the Premier League, and of course I already showed you this like an idiot. We're currently 5th. We've played 11 games, which is 3 less than the teams around us, so really we're in a great position here. We can capitalise on these, on the teams like Stoke. Realistically, I would say we'd win at least 2 of our games in hand on Stoke, and, you know, I'd consider us 4th. But that is how it is now. You know, we're 5th, we're doing very well. Lost 3, drawn 1, and won 7. We've got a very good record currently. Conceded 13, which is very good in the league. Only scored 19, though. I would like to improve that. You know, you can't be nitpicky when we're doing as well as we currently are. Still 5th, like I say, still really in the Champions League spot. But I would like to get, you know, 4th would be the main target this year, and 3rd would be of course, progression, and that's what I want to see. I want to see us progress every year. We're going to look at past positions right now. So, yeah, we'll just jump into the fixtures, because this is our first ever Champions League season. So it's obviously going to be a massive, massive year. So we'll start it off. Well, the first game, of course, was going to be a Champions League game. We faced Atletico Madrid, and we're doing 0-0 away from home. This wasn't a bad result. Of course, I would have loved the away goal. It would have meant a massive thing going into the home leg with an away goal. You know, would have had a cushion to sit on. But we ended up walking away, at least without conceding. That was a good thing. It left the game all open going into the second leg. In between the second leg, though, we faced our first Premier League team, and it was Ipswich, and we lost 2-0. Surprisingly, to lose 2-0 to Ipswich, you know, after our great year last year. I don't know, maybe the early start of the Champions League game tired our players out. But really, we need to be doing a lot better than this next time, in our next game, really. That was the idea. And also, that wasn't great for building confidence going into the Atletico Madrid game. But we managed to win it 3-2. This was an amazing game for me to play in. We gave away a penalty very early on, very poor by Joshua Mendia. Never really covered his rating after that mistake. But, you know, that penalty put us on the back foot from the get-go, because we had to score 2 goals then to know we had a chance of qualifying. So Alan Brooks equalised pretty early on, you know, pretty much straight after the penalty. So, you know, I thought game on. Then Bamba just tears the defence apart. Again, makes Joshua Mendia look piss poor as a defender. And 2-1. We're 2-1 down, and we have got to score an additional 2 goals to go through yet again. Then we get a penalty, you know, pretty easy penalty, you know. Jefferson, I've decided to play him a bit more this season. I'm just going to decide, you know, I really want to let this guy go, give this guy a chance to play in the first team. Because, you know, he's at an age, again, 21, where it's either he'll make it or he won't. And I've really got to give him the chance. I can't just say, you know, he's 21, I can't give him the chance. Karamin's doing too good, because he may be a better player than Karamin. So he equalises for us. You know, it's 2-2 on the day, but they will still go through on the away leg. And then, of course, time slowly ticks on. And then Brian Donald, the 19-year-old, I think, currently, I'm not actually sure, but the young Scotsman steps up on the 88th minute and slots home the winning goal, and the goal that puts us through to the Champions League group stages. It means a massive thing financially for us, but also, you know, we'll look back at this moment and say this is the moment that, you know, we really made our name on the stage. Poor defensive display, Alfonso plays it in, Donald is there, taps it home. Great goal, and really a great performance from the team. We played very well, and I think home form is going to be really important in Europe this season and the Champions League group stages. if we want to progress to the knockout rounds, we're going to have to dominate at home. Okay, possession-wise, Atletico Madrid had us beaten there, but we had more shots. We had more shots on target. Overall, I felt we were more comfortable in the game. We just lacked, the clinical touch. But in the end, the centre mid, a defensively minded centre mid, should I say, really stepped up and found us the goal. He's 22, my bad. Oh, whoa. I thought he was a lot younger than that. I've just not been looking at my players' ages, really. So after that, we faced Manchester United, and somehow we managed to walk away with a 3-2 victory and actually deserve it. So we're coming off the high of getting through to the Champions League group stages. Manchester United at home isn't exactly the game I'd want to play, but I guess, morale was just so high. In the end, it didn't matter who we played, we were going to walk away with a win. I accidentally clicked on that. So start off, Jefferson got us a 9th minute penalty. They equalised pretty much straight after that. Then they took the lead, and then Luis Alberto Shakuro equalised pretty much straight after that. So then it was basically, a clean slate. If you want to be really basic, it was basically 0-0 again. The game was open. It was anyone's for the taking. In the end, Alan Brooks stepped up in the 64th minute and gave us the goal we needed to win the game and beat Manchester United at Billericay Stadium. I think for the first time in a while, really. I don't think we have beaten United. I don't actually remember the last time we did. But, really early on in the season, having just lost to Ipswich as well, we needed to win this game, and luckily for us, we did. Alan Brooks at the far post, scoring the volley. So, again, great performance from the team, 2 great performances in a row. But the fixtures did not lighten up as we faced Chelsea at home, and we won 1-0 again. Tough game, Chelsea. I wouldn't exactly wanted to face them after Atletico Madrid and Manchester United, but, you have to face what comes to you, and lucky for us, Cass Peters scored in the 75th minute after they'd missed a penalty earlier on in the game. So really quite fortunate with the win, yes. But, most good teams, they always get their luck in these big games. And for us, it came to, lucky for us, it came to our team this time. So being Chelsea 1-0, good 3 points to pick up. Then came our first ever Champions League group game. And I will hate the fact that this is our first ever Champions League group game. We couldn't have got a tougher team. Real Madrid, arguably, of course, the most successful side in Champions League history. Probably one of the best, the most successful teams in the world. Probably one of the best teams in the world, First Champions League group game. 7-1. It could have easily been 7-0. I think the 1 goal makes it a little bit worse because, it showed that we had the capability of scoring against them. But what a joke. What an absolute joke. We're just going to move on. So after that humiliating defeat, we won 2-0 against Scunthorpe. Played a rotated side, played a weakened side, and we managed to walk away quite comfortably with a win, so that was nice to see. After that, we faced Coventry in the Premier League. 3-2, we made it hard again, conceding goals. Quite a lot in the first half of in the first few games of the season, including that Madrid game. Manu Sanchez, our ex-player, and Tom McCracken playing against us. But it was a big game. We had to win, of course, away from home to Coventry. We've had a few home games in a row now. Just lost in the Bernabeu, 7-1. So morale isn't going to be exactly sky high. But Hamza Ben Ali did very well in the second half. The game didn't come alive until the second half at that point as well. Come this 80th minute, we were 3-1 up. We were home and dry. So a great victory against Coventry. Then we faced Roma in the Champions League at home this time. So really I thought we had more of a chance, of course, than the Madrid game. I really wanted to turn it around. But no, we lost 3-0. Roma's made us look average. Not as bad as Madrid. Madrid made us look like a Sunday League side. But Roma still dominated us. At home as well. Just another poor game in the Champions League. So lucky for us, it was followed up by the Oxford game. Oxford, of course, not a great team. John Salazar got sent off. Hopefully he can work on that and not get sent off as much. But we were basically home and dry come the half an hour mark in the game with Alfonso and Benelli's goal. They scored in the 69th minute, but in the end it was just a consolation goal. So pretty good victory against Oxford. After that, I faced a tough game at Reading. Away from home, Reading are always a tough team. They got a man sent off in the 33rd minute, and then pretty much straight after that, David stepped up and scored his first ever goal. Actually, not his first ever goal, sorry, but his first ever league goal for Billericay Town, and giving us a 1-0 victory. The Majewski, for me, I don't know why I'm struggling to say that, but the Majewski for me is a tough place to go to. The free kick from the sending off there, as you see, and then poor goalkeeping. David latches onto it. But the Majewski is a tough place to go for me. You look at that, Reading with a man sent off, still dominated, still had more shots and stuff like that. But the early goal, the goal from David anyway, from the set piece after the sending off, gave us that one goal cushion we needed, and just we rode our luck for the rest of the game. So lucky for us, the sending off was early. The sending off sort of, I think, gave us that game. Then followed up the first ever Champions League win. It took us 3 attempts, but we finally got our first ever win, beating Olympiacos very unconvincingly at 1-0. Not clinical enough up front. Pretty much been our whole problem in the Champions League. We've just not got a lot going forward, and defensively we've been pretty open, but we kept it tight this time against Olympiacos, and Jefferson scored the first ever winning goal in a Champions League group stage match. Bit of history right there. So our first ever defeat in the Champions League was our first ever game in the Champions League, but finally we've got our first ever win in the Champions League group. It's Jefferson slotting it home inside the box there. So, following the Olympiacos game, we faced Arsenal. 1-1 away from home to Arsenal. I think that's a great result to pick up. Joe Stewart scored the opening goal in the 71st minute, and I thought the game was over at that point. Arsenal were a tough team to score against, especially at the Emirates. But Luis Alberto Shakura stepped up from a set piece and headed it home in the 87th minute. And it was a hard-fought draw at the Emirates. After that, we faced Huddersfield in the Cup. Won 3-2, this time playing a full-strength team. Well, not full strength, slightly rotated, but still, a pretty strong team, and just managing to scrape through by the skin of our teeth and a Cas Peters 45th minute goal. After that, we faced Blackburn and we lost 2-1. This time, Andre Karamin could only score us a consolation as Blackburn overturned, Blackburn scored late and overturned us and picked up all 3 points. No, Demyanenkov in their starting 11. I'm not sure is he actually still at Blackburn. Of course, £10 million was our highest ever fee received, and he is currently injured with a twisted knee. So it's great to see when players don't work out at other teams. After the Blackburn defeat, of course, we wanted to pick ourselves up, and we did. This time at home to Olympiacos, we won very convincingly, and Jefferson picked up the first ever hat-trick of his career, I think. I wouldn't see him, obviously his first ever hat-trick of his career, and also the first ever hat-trick for a player in the Champions League for us, in Europe actually for us, I think. Don't remember us scoring a hat-trick last year in Europe, so a very convincing result against Olympiacos, and one I expected as well. After that, we faced Norwich 3-0 in the Premier. We beat Norwich 3-0 in the Premier League. Sorry, I'm having real difficulties talking today. Beat Norwich 3-0 in the Premiership. That's the Champions League. Jefferson again picking up another hat-trick. Really on form currently. But a game we definitely deserve to win. So, nice to see it was a bit more comfortable than it actually was in the match stats. After that, we lost 1-0 to Man City. Still expect to lose against Man City, especially away from home. Still, dominated us, but only one goal conceded this time. So, put in a good defensive display at least. It wasn't embarrassing. Following that, we beat Everton 4-2 at home. Jefferson, Brooks, Donald, and Cressinger all scoring as we, run amok against Everton. In the 89th minute, they made it look a little bit better, but really, we played well, we dominated them, we outperformed them, we outscored them, more importantly, and we picked up all 3 points. Then the latest game, really, I didn't want to play this game. I wanted to do the update straight after the Everton match, but we played this game just to see whether we would be able to qualify for the knockout round of the Champions League. We had to beat Madrid going into this game to know that we had a possibility of finishing second still, but, they dominated us yet again, they embarrassed us yet again. 5-2 at home, which means that we will be going into the Europa League this season. Roma and Madrid are already qualified, which means, pretty boring game. Last game of the season. Last game of the group stage. We're already third as well, so there's nothing to fight for any team, so I'm not really sure what team I'm going to field at Roma. I'll probably still field a strong team, because I don't want to lose any worse than 7-1 this season. But, Champions League, I'm disappointed, yes, not to have qualified for the knockout round, but at least we've got Europa League football to look forward to after Christmas, so that's something at least. So those are all the fixtures so far this season. We'll have a look at the awards handed out and we'll wrap up this episode. So, goal of the month. Did we get anywhere in that? No, we did not. Manager of the month. Did we get anywhere in that? We actually won it in September, so is that my first ever manager of the month one? Achievements. Actually, I want biography. 2 occasions, and I've actually won it before. It's a first manager round for the season. Hopefully I can win a few more of them, which will obviously reflect how well the side is playing. Player of the month, we can anywhere in that? I highly doubt it. Actually, we did. Luis Alberto Shakuro got second in September, so I reckon he won Young Player of the Month in September. That he did not. What? That's a bit weird. He comes first in October, and he probably ended up coming second. He comes second in Young Player of the Month in September. That's pretty unlucky, you know, second in Player of the Month and Young Player of the Month. Why Andy Bunnington didn't get Player of the Month, actually, instead, you know, or second at least. That doesn't make any sense. And we didn't get anywhere in third place, but actually one of our players did actually get third place. Tabiro Mazuko ended up getting third place. It's nice to see, actually, that one of our players in the Premier League out on loan is doing well. Hopefully he can come back and do well next season. So, I think this is pretty much it. We'll have a look at some player stats. We're not really anywhere in there, but we'll have a look at one stat quickly, which is salary per annum. We're currently the 11th highest wage bill in the Premier League, yet we managed to perform well against, you know, most of the top teams now. And looking at the fixtures, until, you know, the next time we'll see you, which will be around, you know, maybe the City game. That's not enough games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We've currently played 11. So yeah, until the Tottenham game, you know, we haven't really got many other tough teams in the Premier League to face. Still need to play Liverpool. Them games have been delayed due to Champions League games and Cup games. And, you know, apart from, you know, those teams remaining in them fixture list there, I would say really maybe Stoke and, excluding the Cup game against City and Roma, you know, Stoke and maybe Tottenham are the tough teams there. But apart from that, I'd expect to beat or at least pick up a result all the rest of them. So until next time, guys, until, you know, January, whenever I remember to save it, because this save was 11 games in and I didn't want that. But until next time, whenever that may be, peace out.